My jugglonies have a first trait, they're ASOME. My jugglonies have a second trait, they're red ICAL. Doesn't rhyme. I'd love to see them every day, and if you ask me why, I'll say that ISO Buddies has a way with JUGLON A's. Jugglonies, right? Hey guys, how we doing? Tonight I can't get over these rings on my eyes with these lights. Tonight it's just me, so we're gonna talk. We're gonna have some Q&A. We're gonna have there's 3 people. There's 3 more than I thought, or 2. Victor came back. He had a good night. Beetle guy's here, of course. Pretty laid back stream. Yeah, I'm excited for this crowd. 3's enough. So that was the theme song you guys were supposed to get last week. And I just sang it to my daughter, and she thought it was hilarious and didn't know what a jugglone was. Tonight, I have a special snack for myself. This is 5 flavors of cotton candy, apparently, that I got for Halloween as a gift. So, did that changed the entire lighting situation. So we're going to be trying those out, and I'll keep posted on which one I'm trying. But I expect them each to be varying degrees of weird. So we have s'mores flavored, candy corn flavored, pumpkin spice flavored. Woo! We have caramel apple flavored, and we have cranberry flavored. So, what was the congrats? Yeah, our boy Victor got some new Jumpin' Spiders. They look like pudding. They do look like pudding. They are not pudding. I swear they're cotton candy. I'm hoping they're not crammed in there. I mean, I want my value, but I don't just want a block of sugar. So, sorry for that noise. So, guys, I thought I would give you an insight into the planning stages in my mind and how it works, how I go from an idea to a Vivarium build. So we're going to kind of go over that with the dry erase board today. Yeah, Victor, are your spiders slings? What's the deal, buddy? We're glad to have you. Miles as well. I don't know who else. Oh, there's 6 people in here? All right. Welcome back to whoever's here. If you're here for the first time, enjoy. We don't have a guest tonight, like I said. And you'll have to go back and watch the Jugglone song. The Bug Hub. What? Jose Villa. Jose, you're not supposed to come on until next week. But we're glad to have you. Next week, actually, that's a good segue. We're going to talk to Jose Avila at the Bug Hub about innovations. He is doing some great innovations in the hobbies with his... Did you think it was supposed to be you this week? Jose, I'm sorry. I thought it was super clear. Did you want to come talk to people? I can send you an invite. We can do an impromptu, and then next week I could talk about nothing. But I am going to be eating a lot of stuff. Okay, cool. So next week, we're going to talk to Jose about innovations. So I was going to bring this up at the end of the episode, but if you guys have ideas that are burning in your head, save them for next week. We're going to go over them. I'm working on a design that I'm going to pitch to Jose. That pitch is a strong word. I'm just going to give it to him and hope that it works. I'm going to try to talk to some people that have a certain species that I think would benefit from some kind of a hide that is 3D printed. And I might talk to him about doing stuff for this. So for the big build, for the 125. So those of you who don't know, I have a 125 that I found in the trash. I'm currently resealing it, or I would show you. It smells a lot like silicone down here. So I'm not doing a full reseal because I'm not going to fill it fully. It's only going to be filled about 6 inches, I think. My wife tells me this is 6 inches. Is that right, guys? Does that look 6 inches to you? Anyway, it's going to be filled. It's going to be filled 6 inches. Pardon me. I don't know what's going on back here, but I had to do a lot of running around before I got into the show tonight. So, Jose's got him too. Homework with the kids. Boom. We're going to keep it pretty light tonight. So not too much swearing, I don't think. A couple dirty jokes here and there. The ants like the new lights. We've had an escape again. So I'm hoping that I can get this 125 fixed up pretty quick and seal that deal and make it happen. So that's another part of stripping all of the silicone so that I can put a good seal on all that. So I don't have really good lights on that right now. I would show it off again. But we have another update on them later. So as long as my daughter left everything here. Yeah, you might be able to see stuff. So anyway, the 125, I want to go over what I have planned. And I might have some special requests from the Bug Hub. But we're going to try at random. We're going to try pumpkin spice. Oh, it's kind of pillowy. It is crammed in there. Pumpkin spice cotton candy. I feel like this is a good amount for a taste. Yeah, maybe. Or just down it. What was it? We got 7 people in here. We got some lurkers. Yeah. Nice pumpkin spice. It's not overpowering. That's good. It's kind of like a light. It's a barely there flavor. It's cotton candy flavor for sure. All right. That was number 1. Yeah, 7 people. If you haven't subscribed and you're one of the 7 people watching right now, 6. Sorry, we lost one. You're one. Somebody came in and was like, "What? It's just him." If you're one of the 7 people, 6 people, you haven't subscribed, you're here. Go ahead. So guys, I brought the dry erase board, which you may or may not remember was inspired by my friend Philippe Repta. Now you get a good view of everything in the reflection there. And the back of it, it's pretty dope. The back of it, I have my sticker board on there. So we got stickers from a couple people who sent me stickers, or I got them from their stuff. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. I can't ever see where I'm going. We got a lot of stickers from my guys at iSpot Supplies. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. If you want to send stickers, I'll put them on here and feature them a little bit more often. So, yeah, let's get to it. So the 125 is going to be, let me show you rough what I'm thinking. Okay, this is how it goes from here to a build, and then we have to do a process. So if you haven't built a vivarium, this is after doing like 6 or 7. This is how intense it gets. This is the amount that's going into my 5-foot tall one, even more than that, because these are all prequels to that one. Hard pill to swallow is really good guy. All right, so let's see. We have our tank. This is really bad. So I just found out it's like 6 feet long. I didn't realize it was 6 feet. I thought it was only 5 feet. So I had to recalibrate my stuff. So I've been picking up supplies. We're going to recycle a lot of stuff. I have a bunch of stuff from previous builds that I bought way too much of. So we're going to use, if you're building a big vivarium or terrarium or whatever, you're probably going to want some good expanding foam. I would recommend to do one side of the tank at once and not the 3 sides, because one side of my 29 shattered. Not shattered. It was repairable. It was salvageable. Let's say that. It'll never be a fish tank again, but that one short side is pretty broken. Looks like someone took a hammer to it, essentially. So you're going to want the expanding foam. I use great stuff. You can get the pond one. I didn't know if it existed at the time. Well, hey, don't worry about being late. It's all right. We're just chatting. Wing Dang Doodle. All right. My Green Jedi Monkey Wing Dang Doodle is here. You're going to want silicone. Okay. 9 people in here watching this. You're going to want silicone. You're going to want good cleaner. You're going to want some razor blades. Okay. Because it gets to be a lot and you're going to want to cut yourself. No, don't do that. I'm kidding. You're going to want to clean stuff. Razor blades are the best. You're going to want dry lock. I don't know how many of these you guys have built. I know Green Jedi Monkey. I know Justin's built some stuff. I've had shit lying around the whole apartment for the tanks I've been putting off building. Finally started the spray foam yesterday. Yes. One of the tips I saw for the spray foam Oh, dude, the painting in the silicone is great. At the show? At what show? Oh, Green Bay? Nice. Scaled up. Uh-oh. Did this marker stop working? I don't know how to make these work again. Is there a trick to make dry erase markers work, guys? Besides this. ISO enemies? Oof. Interview people I disagree with. I've disagreed with people in the past. Not on essential things. I mean, we disagreed later on essential things, but not really. I do have some people that I am not cool with anymore. Lick it? Is that going to work? Or is it? That did not work. That did not work at all, Wally. Thank you. So I don't have a dry erase. I looked everywhere for this one. I thought I had more. This sucks. All right, so we're going to give you kind of a rundown. Visualize, people. So the bottom 6 inches of this guy is going to be water, okay? We're going to have a pump in the back corner of this side. And then on the other side, all the way across, the pump's going to suck water in as an intake. Or maybe the intake's going to be here. I'm not 100% sure on that because I haven't built one yet. I need to look at Serpa design. Alcohol for the marker? I don't know if I have any around. I might have some around. So we're going to go all the way here, and this is going to be a waterfall. So up about 2/3, up to about here. And that's going to come down basically this side, just the side of the tank. Okay? So we're going to leave the top 4 inches open for ant barrier. It's going to be open top. We're going to have a pothos plant. Pothos? Chris H, hey, maybe you're new. I don't recognize a Chris H. If I do, I'm sorry. So then above, there's going to be an island here too for the newts. There's going to be newts and fish in here, probably endlers, definitely White Cloud Mountain minnows, like a big school of those mugs, some cory cats. Yeah, I'm thinking endlers, maybe some rubber-lipped Plecostomus or bristlenose, some small species, if there is any. Live plants, so maybe not Plecostomus. Yeah, this tank is really warped. Yeah, sorry. This is when the marker worked 5 minutes ago. 4 inches above the island on a PVC platform or grade is going to be the ant island. So it's going to be kind of bucket-shaped styrofoams, almost like the styrofoam coolers. It's literally shipping crates that fish come into stores because I know a guy. So I got some from him. Let's see if we can just turn this, maybe. That might work instead of just putting it in front of my stupid face. So yeah, so then in those bins is going to be substrates. And then on top of it, I have a log. I have this like 7-foot log I found, but it's going to go all the way across. But on this side, it's going to be cut straight down and applied to the glass. So if they burrow there, I can see it. Or if there's activity there, I can see it. And the long side of the log is going to be cut to a flat plane, kind of at an angle. Then that'll be affixed to the back glass so I can see activity there as well. So, and I'm going to try to do a thing where I get a camera on there at least a couple hours a week so I can just live stream the ants. Yeah, all right. Thanks, Miles. Use fish filter sheets instead of hydro balls. Yeah, man, it's got those get really heavy. Let's see. So yeah, so then there's going to be live plants. On the one side is the waterfall. That's going to be essentially the filter for the tank. Newts and some of the other fish that I'm going to have like it pretty slow moving. But I think pulling the water from here, if you're a fish guy and you think I'm wrong, let me know. It's going to pull it all the way across here to create a flow. So it's going to pull it from the back, bring it up here, and then the waterfall is going to come down and be out about 10 inches maybe. 10 to 12 inches is going to come out and pour down. So it's going to be ridged. It's going to have Java moss and Java fern growing out of the top of it. So that'll filter stuff too. And all kinds of little ridges for it to go past some of the bioactive, the bacteria, the beneficial bacteria will be growing on there, right? The aerobic. Just river rocks on the bottom. That's going to be the whole substrate, is bigger river rocks. Nothing besides that. Maybe sand. I'm debating sand. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty intense. So, but on this side, above the filter, the intake box, above water, is going to be a some kind of an island on here. That's going to be spray foam. It's going to have a branch that goes off of it into the background. The background is going to have a spray foam thing too that's pretty high. It's going to go about this high. And it's going to have little cups, essentially, or shelves in different areas carved out or sculpted out where it's going to be able to put food dishes for different carbohydrates. I'm going to have the carbohydrates here. Now, the ant canopy will be attached to that. So that tank's going to replace this one probably pretty soon, actually, because once I move it, so that the 29 gallon's going to get moved away while the ants are still in it. And that tank's going to come here. So the 10 gallon will go away because all of those fish are going to go in the 125. And then, yeah, so we're going to have that shelf unit. There's going to be plants in there. There's going to be mosses, probably mostly plants because the mosses aren't going to grow. It's not going to be wet. The top is going to be fairly dry. Just the soil is going to be moist. I don't want to break down that log anymore. The log I got is kind of punky already, but it's going to be good for the ants. Okay, which I had to get an ant colony out of it. So there was already a Camponotus colony living in it. So that's my tank, guys. I hope you liked it. So a lot of the thought that goes into it. So that was a base design. I have drawings at work because I don't do anything at work of the tank itself, the filter box. I'm looking at different submersible filters, submersible pumps to pump enough water with enough flow that I want. So this is s'mores flavored cotton candy. I don't think it's going to taste like s'mores either. Beetle guy, that's a good question. So the way I'm building that island, so the newts are going to be underneath. The water's going to be about 6 inches high. There's going to be an island for the newts that doesn't touch anything. It just touches the water. So the big shelf that the ants are on is literally going to be a shelf affixed to the back of the tank. But that's going to be supported by a PVC platform, I guess, with stilts. The stilts are going to be at least 4 inches away from the island. And the island is going to be secured, so it won't wobble. It's just going to be on stilts itself. Right? Man, you always want to watch me eat, dude. It's so funny. I don't have any caffeine because I'm too old now. I decided I'm too old. This keeps me up all night. This actually is really good. So the ant shelf is going to be on stilts because they'll be able to get around the glass. They'll be able to get around. So they'll be able to get down if there's a way to get onto the newt situation. I do imagine there'll be one or two here and there, or a couple that fall off and maybe swim over there or make their way over to the land. I haven't really found a fish that can live in the tank that'll eat ants that won't bother the newts. So, oh, dude, A&W doesn't have, I need to stock that down here. It doesn't have caffeine. So the newts and the fish, it definitely won't bother the fish. But the newts, they would if they could get a hold of them. But if they do get bothered by one or two ants, they can dive into the water. That'll be right there. So they'll be ready to dive into there. On that island, there'll be hides. It's going to be kind of a bowl situation. So they'll be able to have substrate and some plants there, leaf litter. I'm not really going to do isopods because I don't want to fill the water with isopods. They're really dumb. I feel like they'd walk right into the water. I will be doing springtails. I'm building a paludarium for ants, fish, newts. A lot of the stuff I have living right here. So I think all of the newts are big enough to live together now. So, and if they're not, if I judge that the little ones are too small, they'll be put aside. Tomorrow night, there's a 10 gallon I'm going to break down and turn that into, yeah, I suppose it's so stupid. So I'm going to break down a 10-gallon and turn that into a makeshift tank for the newts, because they've kind of outgrown their little situations. There's a couple of reasons. One is kind of greedy. I want to turn one of their smaller tanks into a tank for Neocardinia. So, because I want the orange ones. I want the pumpkin orange ones. Because orange is life, as Wally will tell you if he's here. Orange is life. My absolute favorite color. Yeah, there's a colony. They're busy right now, so they're not falling on me. But there are a bunch that are loose right now for some reason. They found their old waterfall. Like, they built a nest in the waterfall when it broke. Not a nest, but like a little hide where they were storing stuff. So I dumped it out and cleaned it out, and the waterfall isn't in there anymore because the little pump broke, and it was a real pain in the neck. It was definitely an escape point. So they found that, and the escaped ants kind of are living in there. That's their safe place. Yeah, the blue ones are really cool, Jedi Monkey. There's like 4 different grades of the blue ones now. The Neocardinia, they're really cool. I love shrimp. Orange is the new orange. Wally nailed it. Wally just nailed it. All right, we're going into the cranberry. So the other things I'm considering for that, the 125, the thought processes that are going in, is keeping that top portion fairly dry, because I don't want that log to get, I don't want it to go any more than it already is, essentially. It's going to rot more. I don't want it to rot faster than it should, because that will be irreplaceable, essentially. I could put another log in there, I suppose, if it totally gets destroyed. But I think I could get, if I leave it and let it be dry or a little bit moist, I think it could stay for like 10 years. I don't know. But the ants live 30 years, the queen. So the colony could live like 30 years. Yeah, let's see if it's tart. Let's see. Orange is the new shiny gray. I don't know what that means. Oh, Aftec, what do you mean? Which species am I getting in the new setup? Clarification, my man. Clarification. Or lady. We don't know. Other. Whatever. ISO buddies are all accepting. But if I'm answering a question, I think it's this colony here, the 30-gallon. Sheila is going to go in there. She's basically outgrown the 30. I don't have good lighting on her right now. She's basically, this is kind of tart. I definitely can taste cranberry. What species of newt? The newts are going to be my crested newts. I don't know. There's like 6 different species. I don't know the Latin. I could get it, but I don't know what it is. But I'm going to get a couple more adults from the guy who sold me these. I want to get another pair. So I have, my male died. He escaped and died. It was essentially my fault. I left the lid open. And he took advantage of that and got out and died. So anyway, that was Desi. He's the whole reason. That was one of my least chill purchases of all time. But yeah, the crested newts are going to go in there. I have 7 now. I have mom and 6 of her babies. So I have 6 of her babies, and I hope to have a male in there, or to be able to buy another pair from Joe. I think his name is Joe. I have to reach out to him again. So he usually is at like the NARBCs and some of the shows out in Tinley. So, but he doesn't always have newts. So when I first saw him, he had a table before you go in. You wouldn't even go into the show. It was out at the door where you pay. And he had little tanks. He had a bunch of little 5 gallons set up with just this much water. And I just glanced over and I saw that there was a crested newt male. I'd never seen him. I wanted him for years. Never seen him in a store, never seen him at a show. And the crested newt was displaying. The male was displaying for the female, which is they arch their back like a total U, and then they kind of turn in on themselves with this crest, this crazy, like ridged, I don't know how to explain it. It's like waves, kind of. And it's shaking. His tail is shaking. And she was just like, no, man, there's a lot of people here. You need some chill. And I hadn't even paid yet. And I was there with Rick from Ophi Spider-Verse, and I yelled, I got to have those. So I decided to pay before I bought something at the show. And then I went right over to him, and he had them for $70 for the pair. And I was like, what can you do for me? Because I'm always haggling. And he's like, you're the guy that just screamed that you had to have these, right? Yeah, it's not a good bargain technique, guys. Don't, if you're going to haggle, try not to show how interested you are. But if you're on the other side of the haggling and the guy's not acting interested, he wouldn't be asking if he wasn't interested. They do kind of look like old-timey dinosaur drawings. They do. They have that, like, Dilophosaurus, like, particularly Dilophosaurus, I think. Because, no, not Dilophosaurus. Dimetrodon. So, that had kind of melted in my hands like hard candy now. They lay flat on the ground. When they're out of the water, they hardly can move. They're really kind of slidey. In the water, they're not much better. I'm not worried about them eating the fish because they're so slow. They might get one or two that are sick or something, which, to be fair, if they're sick, I don't want them in the colony or in the school anyway, right? Beetle guy asked, what did I name this? The ant colony or the queen? In my mind, they're the same thing. Like they're a hive mind, right? They're one organism. So none of the organism could survive without the queen. They would all die off eventually. So it's kind of like you'd be brain dead in the hospital on life support or whatever. Just feeding them is keeping them on life support. So if she dies, which I never see her. I've seen her 3 times since I put her in this tank. So in a year, I've seen her 3 times. And one of those times I think I saw her. She may have been a major. But I look for fresh eggs. If I can find eggs, which they have made. I don't know if I can show you or not. Let me see. One of them's trying to get my horchata. This, if you don't have root beer, horchata. Baby. I had like 3 sips of this, and I showed it to my daughter. And she got a hold of it while I was building end tables tonight. All right, let's see if we can get a good look. Or any kind of look. This right here. Can you see that at all or no? Yeah, right in there is the egg pile. And you can see them running around with larvae. But that white jellied mass is eggs. There's probably 600 or 700 eggs and a bunch of larvae. And that's almost constant. Like that's been that way for a month. You can see them moving larvae. You can see them in here. And this, guys, is exactly what I wanted. This made the 4 months of work. This makes it so worth it. Snails? No, these. Sorry, these little things. These are not snakes. These are Gorilla Glue dots. So I tried to glue this down with Gorilla Glue, but it wasn't flush. So it kind of pulled away as the glue was drying. So they're kind of like little Gorilla Glue stalactites. You'll be able to see they move between the glass and the wood all the time. Yeah, there they go. There goes one right there. So yeah, I put cotton up here to kind of keep water and stuff from falling in, and they have removed, wherever there's not cotton, they've removed it and used it as nest material. So, and I've packed it in there again another 3 or 4 times and paid the price. They come out and attack me for doing that. This is their buffet up here. Buddha Homer, an ant from Littlest Pet Shop. This is essentially their water dish. I want to do something better for them with the crystal in it. But they're doing really well. And I really want to see anyone who's ever talked to me about building a terrarium or a vivarium will tell you I want to put as many species as possible in one. So I think I've nailed it. I think I've keyed in on how to do this. And if not, I can always remove the newts and put them back in the 10 until I figure something else out for them. In this tank, once these guys move out, there's going to be another colony that I'm going to buy from Tar Heel ants. They have Pogonomyrmex. So they are a species that, how do I say this? They don't really climb glass. They're seed eaters, so that they find seeds and store them. I have to check and see if my nest is suitable for that, because the seeds can mold, and I don't want that. But there's a huge colony of springtails in here. There's probably like 5,000 or 6,000 springtails in here, probably more. Did I miss any of these? Hose? I can't really see totally. Rumchata and beer is so good. Rumchata and root beer. I was like, what? You're my queen. Brendan, you were supposed to tell anyone. Yeah, thanks, Jose. The one tunnel looks like a snake smoking pipe. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. This colony I got on eBay, there were 30 ants and the queen. It was the queen and like 30 workers and some brood. So brood is like eggs, larvae, pupa. So they're in a test tube, right? So half of the test tube, or a little bit more, is water with a cotton ball, and the other half is the ants and another cotton ball, keeping them in there. So I immediately put them into a setup that I had 3D printed that was really small, really like a square, like this, maybe. No, not even like this. L7 weenie. If you get that reference, let me know. L7 weenie. So it's from one of the best movies of all time. So I moved them into that. It was a plastic thing. And then I kept expanding on it. I kept finding all these weird, and I was watching all the YouTube videos with the pros, and they were getting these pro-made things. But I'm such an idiot. I really wanted to try out the cheap, shitty ones and see if I could modify them to be usable. And lo and behold, you can. I had bought this set of tubes and pods. They were like these little orbs with, like if you bisected them like this and then one more this way, kind of like 6 holes, where you could attach other tubes. So you could connect these orbs to these other tubes through these hard plastic tubes. And then I found plastic tubing that would connect as well. You're killing me, Smalls. Justin, you're the man, Justin. I think that 30, when I got them, they were like $90. The 30 ants plus the queen was like $90. Now I know I kind of got ripped off. But I mean, she's got like 4,000 workers, 4,000 or 5,000 workers, I think. Barely 2 years old, maybe 2 years old. I think I got her after I started this. No, right before. But I was into isopods like 6 months before I got her. So yeah, so she went into that. I connected that tube thing that was initially isopods. I was buying all these crazy ant things to see if I could use them for isopods, to make display situations for isopods. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. I wasn't using whole colonies. I was using like 12 or 15 of a species in there. And I lost a lot of them. I lost my parvis. I lost all of my Dalmatian parvis to a setup that just didn't work. I think tunnels collapsed on them or something. I don't know what happened, but they died off. I've had, longtime friends and viewers will know that I'm always trying to do something weird that isn't conventional. Try to unlock things or just see if they work. So these guys, the isopod tunnel system thing really worked okay, but they couldn't really climb through the tunnels. Like they were too slick. It was just rubber tubing, okay, clear rubber tubing. They couldn't really walk through it. So I didn't like it, but all the little orbs were filled with substrate moss. I could keep it as moist as I wanted. Some of them were really moist, some of them weren't. Like the feeding chambers were pretty dry, so the food didn't get moldy if they didn't get to it. But they all figured it out. Like they figured out the flat parts. So then I connected that ant thing to it, and they loved it. The ants exploded in number after that. So they were all over the place. They had feeding tubes set up. I could pull off a little cork, not a cork really, but like a little end cap, I guess, and put food in. Once in a while, they would get really angry for some reason and eat isopod. If they got into the nest. If an isopod got into the nest, that little box nest, game over. They weren't having it. And originally they feasted on the springtails. So I made sure that they had other kinds of food like fruit flies. Watching them hunt fruit flies in there was really funny because they're not good hunters at all. They're really funny to watch. But yeah, definitely if you're into ants, like there's a couple channels, there's a couple people that are pros that have videos. Tar Heel Ants is the way to go. They're awesome. I hate to say it, I'm into the ants. Like I have a lot of animals in the room, but ants are where it's at. I'm into the little dumb stuff like scuds. I've got a little tank of scuds here that fascinate me for some reason. I've got the Opeula. I don't know if you guys can see those. Let me see if I can get the camera that high. These are the Opeula. These are little kind of micro shrimp. Are there any out? There's one right there, actually. Sorry, this camera's not the best. I wonder if I can turn this off and you can see them better. Maybe? Yeah, you can actually see them better. So these are the shrimp. If you watch Russ's, if you watch Aquarimax Pets, he has a couple videos, I think, where he has these guys on there. There's about a dozen. Oh, you can see them cruising around. There's about a dozen in here, and then there's at least 30 babies in here that are growing up. There's a couple right there hiding on me. They're varying shades of red. There's a couple in here that are basically pure white. I could watch these shrimps for hours, man. Yeah, they don't really care about the light too much. So they're fun to watch. They don't care about being viewed for being so tiny. They don't need a filter. They don't need a bubbler. You just fill the tank with brackish water, let it set for like, I think I let it set for almost 2 months. And Russ sent me some acclimated trumpet snails. I think I starved out the trumpet snails because they're pretty much dead. So pretty much, yeah, there was 2 of them. And then all of a sudden there were 3, and now there's just shells. So, but anyway, I got the tank acclimated and cycled, which is obviously important. But I guess they can live like, each shrimp can live like 15, 20 years. So, but they breed pretty slowly, but I had 4 buried shrimp at the same time. Who else do we have? Oh, Margot's out. There's Margot. I gave her a little more moisture, I think. I don't know why she's kicking hairs, but you can see her bald little rump. I don't ever bother her, but I think she might be molting soon. I just saw a video that said that's a sign. So there's her tunnel back there. And if she ever decides to just be in her tunnel, which she never does, she's always out, unless I spray the tank with water. There is a little ball of algae for the shrimp. It's not necessary, but their primary food is algae. It was secured to the lava rock cave. That's where they're from, is lava rock caves. I didn't know that the lava rock has holes in it big enough for them to go into. I don't know if he's out or not. I just heard him, but this is Stinky Joe. His tank needs some work. But it's him and a hisser or 2 that live in here. I tried to get all the hissers out, but I'm pretty sure there's still at least 1 in here. But this is my Krusty. He's hiding somewhere. I just heard him, so he's somewhere in there. Something moved. Okay. Anyway, and then a bunch of isopods and my fish tank, my little rushed fish tank. My Chalcodes is a bit psycho. I don't know what a Chalcodes is, Jose. It is an Arizona blonde beetle guy. Yes, that is the one that I wanted because they are, as far as I know, the most chill. Candy corn flavor. Okay, guys? They are the most chill tarantula, and she absolutely is. She finally calmed down. She was a victim of one of the ant escapes. There was a pretty large escape. And I got home and I'd had her only a couple days, and they had gotten into her setup. It wasn't this is a new setup. They got into her setup and were just harassing the crap out of her. So she was super stressed. I pulled her out, and whatever was left on her or around her, I just murdered those ants. I was really mad. Yeah, Vic, I just saw that video, them kicking hairs for their little like molting bed or whatever. Oh, Chalcotes? That's an Arizona blonde. I didn't know that. A bit psycho? I'm glad I didn't get one of those. Like, the reason I got her is I was over at Rick's house from Ophi Spider-Verse, and he was challenging me to hold one, a tarantula. And I was like, nah, I'm not down. I don't know if this tastes like cotton candy or caramel corn or not. It's a weird mix. So he opened up his Arizona blonde. I forget his name. It's bigger than Margot. Full grown. Probably a female. It was like 5 years old. So I look so greasy. There we go. So anyway, I put my hand in, and she was pretty chill. I was pretty excited to meet her. There we go. I don't know why I don't have that set up right away. So anyway, I put my hand in. He's like, just put your hand in there. And she wasn't really near me. Just put my hand in there, and I'm watching, and I'm waiting, and I wind up just talking to Rick, and I'm looking around the room because there's so much to see in the Spider-Verse. And I look down, and she's like near me, like right there. I went, and I completely froze because those fangs are crazy. So anyway, she just put her little foot right on me, and I went, oh. And I moved a little bit to see if she wanted to climb in my hand, but she just waited. And then she kind of relaxed, and I started to move my hand out, and she was like, wait, don't go. So for like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, I was there with my hand in here, I was being handled by a tarantula, and it was great. So I was sold. I'm like, I have to have one. I definitely didn't want a psycho one. High strung. So Jose, like high strung, like defensive, or high strung, like just scared of everything? What's up, Doug Menace? So yeah, it's pretty great. My orange springtails are exploding. Not literally, but this is what's in here now. It was a species of isopod that is symbiotic with ants. I don't believe they exist anymore. They might. If they do, they're very shy. They basically are dwarf whites. But yeah, that's where we are. We're loving life right now. Do you guys have any questions for me? I'm out of topics, I think. Yeah, the orange springtails are pretty cool. They're kind of big. Like you see that they're kind of bloopy with the naked eye, like the caterpillar body, I think is what I call it. That's just me. That's what I call it. But you can see it with the naked eye. You can see them moving with the naked eye. It's not just like a whoop. Yeah, they're really cool. And the orange is varying. I feel like orange sometimes is a bit of a stretch. But most of mine are pretty vibrant orange. Yeah. Just here chillaxing with my kids. Or like your kids say. Start using their slang on them, Jose. See what they do. It's a lot of fun. Or use it wrong. Tell them something is lit fire. Tell them, I think that's lit fire. And watch their face. Like for a second, they won't realize what you said. So repeat it if you have to. And then watch them go like, what did you just say, Dad? You just used both of those wrong. How did you come up with the Mr. Incredible character for Halloween? Well, he was a great Halloween. So a couple stories from Halloween. So I came up with a character. First, I'm going to have a snack of this before I ask. This is caramel apple flavor. This is the one I was really hoping is delicious. Most likely to finish this one. This is amazing. It's straight up amazing, you guys. Yeah, I can't believe 13 people. Beetle guy's in charge of population control. So, Halloween. So, Mr. Incredible, my daughter, I just wanted to be complimenting my daughter's costume. That's my goal. So, my daughter decided she was a huge fan of The Incredibles. So, all of a sudden. So she wanted to be Violet. Everything was Violet, Violet, Violet. So we got her the costume just in time because right after the costume was purchased, she really didn't care. Thanks, Jose. It was a good costume. But she loved putting the costume on. She has little superhero poses. She kind of forgot how to do them by Halloween, but so we were doing superhero poses together for people on the street and people all over. So, but she's 4, right? So we're walking around with a bunch of neighbor kids. Like every kid on our street was walking around with us for like an hour, which we did. We did 4 miles, you guys, which me and the other mom did 4 miles. The kids did not. So I had 2 kids I was pulling in the wagon, a 70-pounder and my 40-pounder. And then I had another 4-year-old who weighs like 30 pounds on my shoulders. That was the end of the night. That was like the last hour. So, yeah, I'm pretty wiped out today. But so Mr. Incredible, I got a lot of comments. A lot of comments from parents. Great costume. Oh, man, you look awesome. At least 10 dads, 10 adult men were like, you're a brave man. You're a brave man wearing that. And, you know, I told them, there ain't no shame in my game. I'm fine. I'm happy with who I am. It wasn't that revealing. Like the underpants looking area and the gloves and the boots were kind of like this. I don't know, like a fake leather, like a pleather almost. Like there's definitely a little bit of reveal, but not any more than you'd have in like swimsuit. So like my banana hammock, same thing essentially. No, it was less than that. I don't wear that, thank God. I'm not that comfortable with my body, but like swim trunks. So no hammock here. But yeah, there was one point though, we're walking around 4-year-olds. So, you know, there's scary stuff. There's stuff that I jumped at one point because this animatronic thing, I didn't know it was animatronic. It didn't look like it could house a motor or a battery or anything. And it jumped at me and I flipped out. And to say flipped out, like my whole body reacted like, whoa. And another adult laughed at me because they were like, you're a perfect superhero pose, because I was ready to go. Is that your syndrome showing? Wally. Oh, it's my underminer. Yeah, that's from the second one. So where was I? So yeah, so we're walking out of this house and we're trick-or-treating and the kids are doing a great job. Like they were troopers. You know, my daughter, she does not walk far. She was a wuss, but she was being a real trooper here. So she walked up to this house with her friend Sean. Sean is 4. He's the 30-pound 4-year-old. And there was a woman with this terrifying scarecrow mask and then like a Led Zeppelin concert t-shirt, which totally awesome. You know, like hippie jeans and shoes. And then a guy sitting in a flannel and jeans in one of those folding chairs. You know, those like bag chairs. And then, why am I giving you this much detail? But he had on a scary pumpkin mask, you know, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like watching the kids. I was there, right there for them. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, cool. Well, and the kids were like, oh, nice, you know, cool masks. Lady handed them candy, no problem. She's like, I love your costumes, with this terrifying mask. I love your costumes. And the guy's just sitting there kind of still. So I'm just, okay, cool. The kids turn around. They start to come back to me. And the guy does this lunge thing at him, you know, and my daughter immediately, she almost fell down. Like she freaked out. She runs to me. She's crying, Daddy. And I'm like, go see Grandma. And she went behind me to see Grandma. And I lunged at this guy like I was going to hit him. Like I got inches from his face. Like I came at him. And he jumped, you know. He was like, hey, man. And I was like, do you see? See how that made you feel? Like imagine you're 4 years old now. Don't do that shit again to a 4-year-old. I said, Judge. I'm like browbeating this guy. He's yelling at me to get off his property. And I was like, you judge things better. You're not here to terrify kids for Halloween. Like, do that on the older kids, like 7 and up, maybe. I'm really mad. I'm really mad, you guys. Start listening to Christmas music. Not till after Thanksgiving. We'll get into Christmas in a minute. I don't keep any Beatles that I know of. Beatle guy. Unless I have some in a bin or something. I have some mealworms that grew out. I don't keep any Beatles. Not that I wouldn't. I just don't have they seem to be a little more time involved, and I don't like that the adults don't live very long. I would kind of like to see the process, but this guy says never. I'm assuming that's to the Christmas music. I'm assuming that's the fun part, is the process, like from egg to larva to cocoon to beetle. I don't really care about that. They seem kind of boring to me, except for the adults, and the adults don't live that long. Like, that's kind of why I don't go crazy for mantises, because they don't live long enough. I love them. I get super attached, and then they're dead. Had Christmas songs on through my headphones. The only Christmas songs I listen to outside of Christmas season is James Taylor, because he's the best. Bing Crosby is 100% for Christmas. So for Christmas, the high holy day in the ISO Buddies realm is Thanksgiving. So get some blue death fainting beetles. They are the best. They do live a long time. Death fainters live a long time. I thought about it. I thought about doing a community like desert beetle tank with even a scorpion in there. That's fair. Okay. Beetle guy. Do you keep beetles? You are the beetle guy. So I'll wait. So anyway, Thanksgiving. I'll wait. No, I'll go talking about Thanksgiving for a minute while we wait for Beetle Guy, his response for keeping beetles. Thanksgiving doesn't get enough play. I don't want to get into the history of Thanksgiving. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the point of current Thanksgiving is about family, friends, whoever your family is. Make your own family, whatever. Whoever's important to you, spend that day with them. So we turned it into like 4 different days of holidays years ago. Poor Wally. Yeah, just blast it, Miles. Yeah, I think from now, half of my family will just play Christmas music from now until Christmas is over, till like New Year's is over. But anyway, to me, as a former chef, like, Thanksgiving is feeding people, sharing a meal, breaking bread, spending that time, taking that time out of your life. Like, we don't do that anymore. We don't slow down enough to take time and spend it with the people we care about. So nobody really does. So having that many people, say it's even 10 people, that's a huge amount of people to get together now, right? In person, that's crazy to think about. So to get 10 people, adult people, to get together and spend a few hours together and just enjoy a nice slow meal, a couple beers, maybe your less intelligent uncles head out to watch football the entire time because they can't have a conversation. That's my uncles. I don't know what your mileage may vary. But to just sit and talk and catch up with people that you haven't seen in forever. Like, Christmas is for that, but if you have kids, like, I didn't realize this, but kids, they don't wreck it, they just alter it. So they wreck your non-kid having perspective of Christmas. Like, once you have the kid, it's about the kid. It's amazing to watch them react and have that blast. What's up, Andrew? And that's my hetero life mate, menu 6873. Yep. He's my silent Bob. The not so silent Bob. Nanette's favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. See, I knew Nanette. Nanette and I have this bond. I swear we're related somehow. Bad Religion's Christmas album is my Christmas music. Now I need to check that out, Bug Hub. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Christmas. I like what it stands for. I like the point of Christmas, the real point, I guess. I love getting and giving presents. Love it. I love to watch my kid get just overwhelmed with all the crap that I shower her with. For Christmas, it's insane. But Thanksgiving for me is just where it's at. Like, being able to just get people fed. I don't know. I'm passionate about it. I don't know if you can tell. Like, I'm like out of breath thinking about it because this is the next holiday. Like, I'm already planning. I want to do turducken again, but I feel like I lucked out on my only one I ever did. It was just the breasts. It wasn't the full birds. But I totally winged it. I breasted it, and it was. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not bragging. It was perfect. The duck breast in the middle came out just under medium. The chicken breast was perfect. The turkey was moist. In between each layer was a herb paste that I made, herb and butter paste. Between the duck and the chicken was, no, I'm sorry, between the chicken and the turkey was Italian sausage. And the duck was wrapped in prosciutto, really tightly in prosciutto. So the prosciutto stayed like really wet. It didn't get crispy or anything, but prosciutto doesn't have to get crispy. It's just better that way, but it doesn't have to. Halloween is dope. Don't get me wrong, Victor. I love me some Halloween. There are benefits for each holiday. So Halloween is getting your community together. Like your community gets involved in one big thing. Like you guys, I don't know if you had it by you, if you saw it, or if you had one. So it was rainy and really crappy all day. But it was like just misty and I don't know. We were walking around and then at the end it got rainy, but to the east of me, cleared up at the end of the night. There's definitely a hisser in there. I don't know if you guys can hear him. So anyway, and we had this gigantic rainbow. It was the biggest rainbow I've ever seen. It was like full half circle, almost to the point where you see it bending in at the bottom. Like it was gigantic. It's the whole sky, and it was like the most vibrant rainbow I've ever seen. And the whole area, everyone in the area, adults, kids, froze, stopped what they were trick-or-treating or looking at scary stuff and just was like, wow, amazed. Like a couple hundred people on this block just were mesmerized. And that's what I think is great about Halloween. The candy is great. Yeah, the costumes are amazing. That's one of my favorite things. But the community getting together is my absolute favorite. Easter, deviled eggs, and candy. The Easter candy is the best candy of the year. Christmas, the gifts, snowball fights. If you can get to somebody's house who has a fireplace on Christmas is like the very best thing, unless you get it too close to their 6-week-old Christmas tree. Awful weather in Portland. Oh, I believe it. Yeah, I believe if you're from a state, you should be familiar with the weather. Illinois, we get all the weather. You never know what it's going to be. Last year, it was pouring rain. The year before that, we literally had a blizzard. We had like 6 inches of snow. My nephews made a giant snowman in my yard while we were trick-or-treating. What other holidays are there? 4th of July is fireworks. That's fun to get together and watch fireworks. Have like barbecue. That's amazing. I don't know. It's really all the holidays I count. Even though I work at a bank and I get every holiday off. Like 16 paid holidays this year. 16 paid days off. Which I don't even know banking world. So your paid day off for the holiday. Which doesn't count as one of your days off. Technically. So you kind of get an extra day off. Since you got paid for the one you weren't working, you have to take another day off. So you work 4 days that week. So you have 3 days off and get paid for one of them. Yeah. That still blows my mind. I haven't worked in restaurants for decades with no days off, or at a casino. Like you don't get hotels. You don't get days off. But yeah, holidays are great. Halloween is amazing. That costume was a lot of fun. It was sweatier than I thought it would be. I was pretty clammy when I got home. I had to take a shower right away. But after that, we got to go to the neighbor's house and chili and tamales, and it was so good, so good. So yeah, guys, I don't know. Do you have any other questions? Do you have anything you want to know about the channel, where we're headed? Any requests of like things you want to see? I did the poll, and we're going to do more isopods. We're going to do more setup discussions. I'm going to try to film this 125 or film bits and pieces of this 125 setup. I'm going to try to do a time lapse thing. Those aren't going to be live, obviously. It'll be a 6-hour video or something. It'll be my first series of edited videos. So, and I'll debate whether or not to issue those in pieces. I think it'll be in pieces. Not like cleaning the tank or anything like that. It's already cleaned out, but getting it set up as far as that's concerned. intro the animals. But again, that'll be right here. So I may try to change things up. So I'm filming with that as the backdrop. I don't know for sure if I'm going to do that or not. Chili and tamales. It was definitely American chili, chunky style. No noodles, but did have beans. What other hobbies do I have? Oh my God. Okay. No worries, Jose. Have a great night. All right. We may be here if you come back. I don't know how long we'll be here. Probably a long time. Beetle guy's got a lot of questions. So other hobbies that I have, I do some woodworking. I just started growing plants. Lego. I'm a huge Lego fan. I'm an old school toy collector, but I don't really do it anymore. I try to collect Lego sets that I'm into. My pride and joy, I finally got a Millennium Falcon. I never had a Millennium Falcon toy as a kid. So that was my first one. My first one ever was on my 40th birthday. My brother-in-law got me the Millennium Falcon Lego set, and oh my God. I don't think I've ever been, if it wasn't for me getting chef's knives that year too, I am not in a hacky sack, dog. Noodles and chili is delicious, but it's chili mac. My woodworking, I mean like whittling or doing small projects. I am working on a big project for this tank, like a stand for it. I think I'll be okay. I was going to talk to Wally about it later, about the support of it, or anybody else that's into fish tanks. So I'm going to use 2x4s to basically make a frame underneath for it that's going to go across some oak end tables. It's only going to be not even half filled. It's going to be like 6 out of 18 inches filled. So I think I'll be okay if the weight's distributed enough. Other hobbies, I play Dungeons and Dragons. Let's see, I paint miniatures, I print miniatures. Let's see, I don't even know there are toys left. I draw, I sculpt. I think that's most of it. I nerd out. Comic books, they're all digital now for me, just for space's sake. I have 12 long boxes over there, but it's mostly graphic novels because I had like 30 years of comic books that got destroyed in a flood in our apartment, our favorite apartment in Westchester ever. We had a flood, and I was devastated. That's maybe the worst day of my life. Like nothing worse has happened to me in my life. So that was it, probably. Yeah, the water was like almost waist deep on me. I have 12 boxes there. I had, what did I have? Like 10 or 12 boxes down there in the basement, and they were stacked. So I thought maybe the top layer would be safe. Like there were basically 3 that I figured we safe 3 boxes. Yeah, they were wrecked, Coral. So I got down there. I just dove in. Like I jumped down in the basement because my downstairs neighbor was like, "Hey man, there's water downstairs. I know you have comic books. Like, do you want to help check it out?" We didn't have power. But he was worried there would be electricity. So at the last second, he yells. I'm like 5 feet I'm just charging down the stairs. And I can see the water. I don't know how deep it is really, but I can see that it's high. And he's like, "Wait!" And I'm already in. Like I dove right in, right? Not dive, but I jumped right in the water. Waist deep. And I charged across to it. And the top box was this far underwater. Just all of them, just underwater. And I just stood there for a minute. And then I started trying to haul them out. And they weighed, I don't know if you ever picked up a long box of comics, but probably weighs like 50 to 60 pounds. I'm not good at judging weight. I think 50 to 60 pounds. And I hauled them all out soaking wet. They're probably like over 100 pounds soaking wet each. So like, yeah, I moved 1,000 pounds outside. But outside was like wet too, but we had to get them out anyway. Yeah, I got a lot of hobbies. Yeah, Andy, you know about my hobbies. You sweet potato pie, you. Which state would you live in if you could choose from any state? Hawaii. 100% Hawaii. Yeah, no question. I don't know that I'd pick. Illinois kind of sucks. We have family in Michigan that I like. I like to argue with them about politics, a little bit about religion. let's see. I don't know. I'd move there. I can't think of a state I would move to other than Hawaii. I said I'd rather be homeless in Hawaii than live in Illinois, or have a home in Illinois. If I ever got to Hawaii, I would just never come back. I would be like an illegal immigrant to Hawaii, and I'd be just happy. I can't imagine. I'd have probably some kind of weird Hawaiian parasites, but whatever. The records are even heavier. Yes, my wife's albums are ridiculous. So we have like 30 milk crates in her office, I think, and I swear to God, every 6 weeks she wants to redo her office as an aunt. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give them some cotton candy, see what they do with it. This is the green apple one. Right now they're attacking it. I should have done that an hour ago. What an idiot. We'll check on them in a minute, but here's how it looks now. That's the cotton candy right there. There's two there. There's one in front of the amp, one behind the amp. Yeah, they're checking it out. This little cup is brown sugar water. That was full this morning. That's raspberry jam. I don't think they like it. So I made raspberry jam. I might get rid of that. Yeah, we're going to be, it's been fun to visit Oregon, but I don't think I would live there. I'd want to live somewhere with definitely more biodiversity that I could spend more time outdoors, and better weather. I did eat the pumpkin one. It's not great. I didn't really get pumpkin out of it. This green, the caramel apple one, it's weird. Because first you get, I feel like the Jelly Belly people made this one because first you get caramel, and then in a second, it's just like eating a caramel apple. Then you get the green apple. So Pacific Northwestern New England. My dad lives in Washington State. So I've been out there. I've been just to Southern Oregon. I was in California for basic training for the Navy, but that didn't last long. I had a lung collapse in the first week. At the end of the first week, I was there a month. They did the surgery. I recovered, and they sent me home. They said I could still finish boot camp or try to finish basic and get a Navy job or go home with a medical discharge. Now it's like, will I get to be a diver? They're like, no, you can't. You can't dive with a collapsed lung. Like having had a collapsed lung, no way. So I was like, well, then I'm going to go home. Like that's the whole reason I'm here. I was going to disarm bombs underwater. And my recruiter told me I could do that with a seal. Like I could have a sea lion that was my coworker or a dolphin. And when I got to the thing where we actually swore in, which I thought I already was sworn in, before we swore in, the guy was like, what are you going to be doing? You know, he's asking everybody as we sign in. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this. And he's like, what are you talking about? There's no dolphins. You think PETA would let us do that? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what? And my recruiter was there, like dropping us off. And I was like, dude, did you lie to me? Did you straight up lie to me to get me to sign up? No, man, you got to trust me. And I was like, I did. But anyway, I believed him and went. And I was like, either way, I'm going to be a diver. You're going to pay me to scuba dive, possibly explode. Yeah, my dad lives on an island, Whidbey Island, off the coast of, or it's kind of in a bay in Washington. And the views, they send me the pictures. Good Lord. I've never actually been to their house. But like, they get whales, they get orca, they have dolphins. There's fish all over the place out there. In the bay, you can scuba dive. It's super cold, I guess, but you can scuba dive. Like, past that is very choppy. Like, you really don't want to be out there unless you're a pro, but more time outdoors than or. Have you met anyone from Portland? There are recreational areas everywhere. Mount Hood is the world's second most climbed mountain. Beetle, I can't tell if you wanted to ask me where I wanted to live or recruit me to move to Oregon. Like, what's happening? he's population control and like recruitment for Oregon, specifically Portland. I mean, I believe it's beautiful. I'm not debating that. I goes, Hawaii, man. I don't have to worry about it. I can be out in the rain in shorts. No question. Hawaii is where I'd be. Never hear about them getting hurricanes. So either they do and don't cry about it, or they do and it's not an issue, or they don't. They don't get earthquakes. They may get a volcano this year. They're worried about a volcano on the Big Island. But, I mean, you got to roll with the punches, you know? Volcanoes, they live on a volcano. You had to know. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah. Guys, tell me what's the next big thing in iSpods. Is there a big thing coming? I will say before you get into that, I've been contacted recently by 3 people to try out their products. Their products sound interesting. I'm not going to lie about that. But they are under the assumption that their products are this new, entirely new innovation that's going to change the hobby. But I know that there's already been I know personally a dozen people who have done this project already and put these things together. So I don't know how to tell them that. It sounds like their project sounds really good. Sounds amazing. But I don't think bioactive litter boxes. Watching chat wrecks my show. I'll see you guys make some random ass comment and completely go off the rails. Yeah, so I don't know how to tell them that. Is there a way to break that to them nicely? I don't know how to do that and break their little hearts. I want it. It sounds great. Their little innovations sound great, but calling them innovations is kind of a stretch. But we're gonna try. Victor, love you, man. I'm glad you got to come. We miss you. Victor's been working, guys. He's got a job where he's working nights, or evenings. So this was a real treat because they kind of sent everybody home tonight. Soil mites. Yes, soil mites would be great to keep. It'd be so good. My Dungeons and Dragons group played Sunday night. I had them. There was a object producing mist, this very thick fog, and the fog was just riddled with fungus gnats because 4 out of 5 players are into our bugs. So it was great. The new secret Alaskan morphs that mysteriously appear in an exploratory moss shipment. Oh man, that would be dope. You know what? I watch too much horror stuff. I'd probably have to kill them. I would not trust that at all. Plus, I bet the ones in Alaska are this big and have antlers or something. Soil mites are free. And surprising. Surprise pets. Oh, I didn't even want that. And now you have it. Oh. Guys, this one's so good. I'm not even kidding. I gotta stop because my dentist is probably having nightmares right now for some reason they don't understand. Let's see what else. Anybody want to take bets on how long it takes Yeezy to be basically homeless? Anyone? Or starts to put out country albums. I'm just saying that's what happened. Well, Hootie stopped doing rock and then he went to country. I think Yeezy might go to country. Or Yay. I don't know what he calls himself now. All I know is F that guy. The big ones live in Texas. I know some big something that lives in Texas. 11.16 minutes. Is that all we've been on? Till it's an hour and a half? Is that your question? Yeah, I don't know. Alaskan isopods. The guy we had on a week ago, 2 weeks ago, my new friend Carl Callwood, he's gonna be posting stuff all over IsoBuddies, invertebrates and insects. I told him just post anything, any cool or what, not even cool, just like neat animal photos or pictures that he has. It's like, post whatever you want. But he's gonna look for isopods and see if we can help identify them or see if they're new or whatever. And if they're new, we should probably see about permits required to get them from there. I know we can't ship stuff to there, but probably from there wouldn't be a big deal, right, guys? I don't know. Let's get some isopods from our friends. How many pairs of Bible Times colored shoes would you need to come up with to crash on your couch for a few weeks? Bible Times colored shoes. I wouldn't let Kanye in my house. I never cared about his shoes. Bible Times. I don't wear any Bible related paraphernalia. It's all in here, man. It's all in here. Yeah, I don't. Oh, that's a funny question though. I like it. I saw the Skeezy shoes that he was gonna have put out by Skechers, but yeah, it's kind of fun watching him just crash and burn right now. Like I hate wishing evil on people, but mostly that's just people I like. I hate wishing evil on people I like, which is probably biased. Probably not the best Christian outlook, but I mean, let's be honest. Honesty is more important than niceness, I think, sometimes. Not great. Not great. It is nice not wearing headphones tonight because I'm not talking to anyone. So these will be good. Next week, we have Jose Avila. Interview Kanye. I feel like in a year, he probably would come on the show. We'll have 295 viewers. You guys missed me crying. Within an hour, we went from 295. We finally hit 295 viewers, subs. We went from 295 to 294, back to 294 within an hour. And I was so excited to hit 295. I'm like, oh, we're so close to 300, which is nothing, but still, it's exciting. And so 295, I was like, yeah. And then it went down to 294, and I was like, come on, man. So, yeah, you win some, you lose some. But I was real excited to have 300 Jaglones, and 295 was like that next little step to that. And some guy from a country, I don't even know what country it is. I can't. I watched his videos. I can't understand them. But he liked the ant canopy. That's what brought him over. And he subbed right up. I don't know that I would interview Yeezy. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. I don't know what I would ask him. I feel like I'd get real frustrated in the middle and just cancel, just end it. And then send it somewhere. Or start asking him weird questions, like on purpose. Just not anything even relevant, just weird. Like, what's the speed of blue? And then watch him, like, glitch out. Just make him glitch out, you know? That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, guys, thanks for coming. We are going to be doing some build videos. Those are going to be like not on Tuesdays though. I'm not going to publish those instead of a live feed. I got to start looking for guests again because I only have 2 more interviews lined up. So we have 2 more interviews lined up. After that, I'm going to take a week off, maybe 2. I got to get some shit together here. Not just the build, but like get some things in order, get some ducks in a row. There's a lot going on in the IsoBuddies world behind the scenes. So we're definitely going to take 1 week off, maybe 2. I'll keep you posted. So hopefully it's just the 1. But yeah, I love you guys. Thanks for coming. I mean, we had like 13 people on at one point just watching this. So that's a blessing. I hope you're looking forward to this build. I know I am. I do want to try to find a way to get a camera on a setup, just like basically a permanent thing where it's just live stream and you can just go watch it like a live feed. I don't know how to do that though. I don't know how. Like maybe you could do it and you couldn't go back. I don't know. If anybody has any idea on how to do that, reach out where it just is live, and that's if you miss it, it's over. You didn't. It doesn't store anything. It's just a live stream, and you can log in and watch. So, no sound, just ants and newts and whatever. But yeah. Oh man, Scott, you don't even know. I appreciate you guys so much. To my Patreons, there's 7 of you now. I love you guys. To my non-Patreons, I love you guys too. If you're watching this, I was going to spend the money from the Patreons on this build, and I stopped myself because that's not what I said I was going to do. I can pay for my own setups, even though it's going to be on the show. I am still saving that money for Utah. So, I love you too, Coral. Mother sweet potato. I got a lot of sweet potatoes, apparently. So, yeah. So that money is sitting in PayPal or in Patreon right now, just waiting for Utah. So I haven't been able to say, hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah? Should we do an episode about cats? What do you think? Should we do an episode about cats? No? That's Widget. My reluctant co-host, occasional co-host. What? Scared me. I don't know if you guys saw me jump. Dude, hi. Are you being funny tonight? So yeah. So we'll be back, guys. We're gonna do Jose Avila next week. The week after, I don't remember. Again, you know me. I can't remember. My phone is absolutely dead, so I can't check. But yeah, we'll see you then. Okay, so tune in next week. Cat show would be cool. Oh no, I'm not ever gonna do a show about cats. If you have a cat, you know. If you don't care. So, yeah, every comic strip or meme you've ever seen about having a cat is 100% accurate. So, unless you have a rag doll, which is different. Guys, peace out. I love you. Sleep tight. Hope you had a good Halloween.